This gospel had a couple of details in it that were powerful, and I wonder if you caught them. First, it said the 11 disciples went to the mountain where Jesus led them. We know why there were only 11, but that's still a little shocking to hear. The reminder that there was a wound in their lives. But Jesus summoned them to the mountain, and they went. And of course they went, because they had seen so much of what Jesus had done. They'd been there for the miracles. They had been there for all the healings and the incredible moments of grace. So of course, after all they'd seen him rise from the dead after all. Of course they went to where he summoned them. And it said that when they saw him, they worshiped, but they doubted. They worshiped him, the apostles, of course, but they doubted. Not too long ago, a woman with a terminal illness invited me to come over to her home. And when we sat down to talk, she said, "Father, I've always believed. I've always gone to Mass on Sunday." And then she said, "And the holy days, Father." She wanted to make sure I knew. And I know a lot of folks like her. I know that kind of faithfulness. She said, and she looked away and then she looked back. I think it took a lot of courage for her to say this. "Do you ever wonder, though, Father? Do you ever wonder if maybe... Is it really true, Father? Is all of it true?" I loved that she had the courage to say that to me, because I want to tell you a well-kept secret that every priest knows. There's a lot of folks who sometimes feel that way, even those who are very devoted to their faith. On a difficult day, or when they're really scared, they might say, "But did you ever wonder, is there a way we could be sure it's all true?" So there's something really beautiful about the fact that tonight we hear that even the apostles struggled with that. Even the apostles dealt with doubts. And I think tonight is a great night to talk about dealing with doubts, because the Trinity, the whole concept of the Trinity, is one that causes a lot of us to feel uncomfortable about how much we don't know. It means that God is a living relationship. And that sounds beautiful on the one hand, but it also sounds a little bit vague, and it makes us nervous. One of our parishioners died last week, and his funeral was last Saturday. Tom Hart, his longtime partner of 45 years, is here tonight. And he was a veteran teacher, and he had started and led a marching band and color guard for years at the school district where he taught. And so he was a legend. He changed a lot of kids' lives. He was born and raised in Hudson, and so we had the funeral for him at Holy Trinity Church in Hudson. And it got a little bit confusing because some of his family members said, "Father, we really want to thank you for doing the funeral at St. Mary's." And I said, No, I thought the whole point was we were going to do it in Hudson. And they said, "Yeah, at St. Mary's." And I said, "You mean Holy Trinity?" And they said, "Oh, right. Right, we call it St. Mary's. It used to be called St. Mary's. We call it St. Mary's." So then I brought an altar server with me because I didn't know my way around the sanctuary. Many of you know Donna Hagen with her beautiful silver hair, who often helps out with a lot of things at St. Patrick's in Ravenna. Donna went with me, and I was giving her some directions for GPS, and I couldn't find Holy Trinity Church. It kept coming up St. Mary's. St. Mary's. Why won't anyone call it Holy Trinity? Even GPS won't call it Holy Trinity. It's been named Holy Trinity for 30 years, almost 40. You know why, I think? Because people feel comfortable with Mary. I think it's natural to feel really comfortable with Mary. She's a mother. Nobody ever thinks, "Oh, I wish our church had a different name than St. Mary's." Everyone loves it because she's a mother. She's like us. We know how much it cost her to love her son. And we have nothing to doubt when it comes to Mary. A lot of us fall asleep at night when we can't sleep with rosary beads in our hands. A lot of us have spent a whole lifetime staying connected to her. So when they renamed that church after the Holy Trinity, something beautiful and true and essential to our faith, but something a little bit vague, people will probably never call it that who've lived there for a long time. It'll always be St. Mary's. So this is where the advice of the first reading comes in, the advice that Moses gives. Moses says that whenever you're confronted with something like the Trinity, something you can't understand about your faith, something that may cause you doubts, what you do is fix your heart on this. Fix your heart on all of the things that God has done in your life. Fix your heart on the things you don't need any proof of because you were there, you lived it. Fix your heart on the times that you were brought as low as could be, but endured. Fix your heart on, as Moses says to the people, that you were slaves and that there was a sea between you and freedom, and God parted it and cut it in two for you. Fix your heart on the things that God has done for you. If you do that and focus there, then the rest of faith will follow along. Don't get stuck on the things that you don't know. Fix your heart on the things that God has done for you that you do know. The poet Lucille Clifton has a line that I love. She says, "Come celebrate with me, everyone, that so many things in life have tried to kill me over the years, and they've all failed. Celebrate that with me, that I'm still here." That's the wisdom we need. We need to stick with what we know for sure. Even if we can't grasp the Trinity, but we can grasp Mary. We have no trouble with Mary. Then start with Mary and work toward the Trinity. The disciples had a lot of things they didn't know about Jesus, but when he said, "Come to the mountaintop, I want to see you," they went. They could start there. They knew that listening to him was the right thing to do, even though at times when they worshiped him, they felt doubts. That woman who had fears and doubts in her faith that called me over to her house, she didn't know about what was going to happen when she passed, but she knew that a priest could help her, so she started there. She called me to come talk to her. She didn't focus on what she didn't know. She focused on what she did. So a good question for all of us is, what is an experience of God in our lives that we know for sure? What is something in our life that God has revealed to us that we're not in any doubt over? Something we know for sure God has done for us. What are your testimonies that you could say, I gotta say, there are so many things in my life that have tried to kill me over the years, or tried to bring me low, or tried to take away my hope, but come celebrate with me that so much has tried to kill me and has failed. Isn't that kind of what it's like to come to church together? Isn't that maybe a way to look at, as we return to church every week next week, what it means? Why do we come every week? Come celebrate with me. Let's celebrate together all the things that have tried to defeat us and have failed. One of the things that we need to remember is the things we know for sure in life, we should focus on the ones that we have personal experience of, the things that God has actually done in our life. Because a lot of folks have learned the hard way that when you're young, you're tempted to have a long list of things you're sure about. And then over time, you realize, oh, I really actually don't know that much about that. Sometimes we have to unlearn it. I've had a conversation not long ago with someone who said, I thought I knew what commitment in marriage meant until my spouse became bedbound for years. Maybe we say, I thought I knew about forgiveness until someone hurt me in a way that I didn't know how to go forward. A lot of parents have the story of saying, I thought I knew what I thought about homosexuality until one of my kids came to talk to me about their life. So our doubts are meant to help redirect us to the things that we are sure of. They redirect us to the bedrock of our faith. They help us to know how big God is, unknowable fully by humans, but that there is so much that we do know, that we have so much to celebrate, so many things that could have taken us down but didn't. Moses says, fix your heart on those things. Remember all that God has done for you. There are so many things that we don't understand in life, but Jesus says, fix this in your heart. His last words of the gospel today, understand this. I'm with you always. One day the world is going to end, but I'll still be there with you.